Okay, welcome everyone. So we are on day 5, the final day of Baby Steps to DocuSign. This is exciting. Today is all about creating your own templates. So I just want to remind you that this is an advanced class. If you are still confused and you're not familiar and you haven't sent out an envelope and you haven't completed an envelope, I would just kind of suggest waiting. You can always watch this video later. It will be recorded and it will be on YouTube. So again, this is for more advanced DocuSign, creating your own personalized templates. And again, you can always watch this again later. I don't want to overwhelm people who aren't ready for this step. And before we talk about templates, I just wanted to quickly go over forms for a second, because again, we have been talking about shared templates and using DocuSign with shared templates. But I did just want to briefly touch on forms. So we are in a room, and again, this is just a little tangent, but I think it will be helpful. And we're in documents, and we have added forms. Sorry, I've got to go to the right one. And I know a lot of people are wondering, well, I can only add one form once. Why is that? So once I've added my forms, I can only add them once. I just want people to think of forms almost like mini templates. So you see how there is a form button here rather than a PDF or a signed icon here. Think of this as your master template within your own room. So you can fill everything out. For example, the offer. You can fill everything out here, anything that wouldn't change. So you could fill everything out here, save it, and then fill out whatever forms you need. And then when you're ready, just select the forms that you need. Oops, sorry. And click on DocuSign. This will open up a new envelope. All right, so you're using forms, but you're still using an envelope. And then if you are done and you need to use those forms again, just use the same form. Edit anything you need to edit. So for offers, instead of creating a duplicate envelope or going in and redlining things, if you're using forms, go back to your form, make any edits that you need to make right here. And then again, just check off and hit DocuSign, and that will create a new envelope. So I hope that kind of clears up some confusion. Again, these forms are almost like mini templates within your Documents tab, and I would keep them in the Room Docs file, and that's also why you have duplicates, because one of the forms is really a master, and then once you have the signed version, it will pop up here and you can put them into each correct folder. So any questions on that? I hope that kind of clears up why you can only add one form to your room.
Emma, one question on that. So if you created a form in error and you archived it, do you have to go back to your archive file to find it if you need it down the road?
Yes, good point. Yeah, so if you have archived a form because you're thinking, oh, I'm only going to use it once, you can't add it again, so you would have to find the archived form and unarchive that. So in general, I wouldn't really archive forms anymore, because again, they are almost like your mini master templates within documents if you're using forms. All right, so I didn't understand that before yesterday, but now it makes a lot more sense. Forms are still kind of glitchy, but I just wanted to clear that up, and hopefully that gives you some relief and makes a little more sense. Any other questions on that?
Emma, can I ask you something before you start the class?
Sure.
So I've done some transactions, a couple of listings. I haven't done an offer yet. I've been cheating in .loop, but I'm going to do that today. So I use the form. I go into DocuSign and I pull the forms in that the office has there. And that's what I've been using. And I noticed New Hampshire's in there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there any harm in me just doing it that way versus creating templates, or is it going to be easier if I have templates?
So it will be, what I think I'm hearing you say is you're using templates and you're wondering, can you just keep doing that? Do you need to create your own? Is that your
No,
question?
what I'm doing is when I need listing documents, I go into it's the office has everything in there.
Yeah,
And I pull those documents from,
through this way?
um, there's forms in there and I join the group and get in there and I pull the forms, pick them, and then it goes right into the room.
This way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Am I okay still doing that?
Yeah, definitely. So this is the forms way of doing things. So yes, you can definitely do that. Again, two different ways, templates or forms. But if you're doing it that way, that's fine. Just remember that all of the forms should stay in that desktop room docs folder. And these are kind of more like templates rather than your final version. So if you
Okay.
wrote an offer and then you needed to go in and change the terms, you
Mhm.
just go back into that master form, make your changes, save it,
Okay.
right? So if I needed to change this to something else, I'd go in, make the changes, save it, and then select whatever I needed to
Right.
DocuSign again, then click on that DocuSign tab and it will open up a new envelope.
Okay. So what's the benefit? This is so before we start this.
Yeah,
to-
the benefit is before I was thinking, with templates, you would have to go in and make a copy of every envelope for the offer. You couldn't change the offer easily if you had a counter. It's more for the buy side with offers.
Okay.
But on this, let's say you already have a signed offer up here,
Mhm.
right? And I just needed to make one quick change to the closing date.
Mhm.
Instead of going back, redlining the signed document and making sure I have a copy of an offer envelope before I send it out, I could just go back in here, change it here. This is more similar to dot loop. I could just change it here,
Okay.
save it, and then select the files I need and create a new envelope from here. I didn't realize that you could do that.
Okay. So here's my question. What's the difference and which one's in the long run going to be better? To just use the forms that the office has in or what you're doing today? So why is there two ways to do this, I guess?
Why? I don't know.
Okay.
But I would say after figuring that out yesterday, I would use forms for offers
Okay.
and I would use pretty much templates for everything else.
Okay. All right.
That's kind of what I'm figuring out today. That could change tomorrow, but as
That's
of
okay.
today, I think that's my
I
best
just again, like I'm working through with DocuSign using the forms and then with the templates, I just wanted to understand, and maybe other people did too, why there's two choices and why would I want to use templates? So
right.
you use templates, correct?
Yeah, so I use templates and I'll show you why. So
Go ahead, I'll stop. Thank you. I just wanted to
you're
understand
welcome.
the difference.
Emma,
Okay.
sorry, before you move on from
Yep.
here, and just to Kelly, just to say, I mean, the reason that I use templates is because there are things that on forms that are the same every single time, particularly on listings, like license number and, the agent's name and all that stuff is the same. So it saves me from having to continue.
That makes sense. That's the $1 million question answer. Thank you.
Yes, great
Okay.
point, Jessica. I think
Thank you.
on most of the templates, you would need to enter in that information only once and it would save, whereas an offer is going to change every time you write it. So
Yeah.
that's why you might use a form.
So I have a question about versioning though. So if you, like you just made a change, you added something. What if you have a completely new offer? How do you get to like a blank? Or
So
you went into this form and changed it. What happens to the previous offer that you had? Does it stay up and signed or?
So as long as it's signed, it would stay.
Got it.
But
Okay.
as soon as you change this form, so if you had one offer that didn't work out and you were writing a new one and
Yeah.
everything was still filled in here, you would still have to go in and edit everything that needs to be changed, like the property address, the sellers, all that stuff. But as soon as you save it here in this master form, it's going to stay as the master.
Got it. And then the other one I would archive because it's an old offer.
Yeah, the signed
Used
offer,
Yeah.
or whatever you would archive, yes. But
Okay.
again, this master form should stay in your room docs, and that's the one that you can change as many times as you want.
Right.
And I think for
There's
an
some
offer,
specific, when I think master, I think blank, but it's not blank once you change it. It just happens to be a form that you can edit all the time.
right, you can edit it without having to do a backup envelope or without redlining it. So yeah, it's a master, but as soon as you change it in this form, once it's in your documents, it will stay however you change it. So if I type in everything on this offer, it will stay, and I'll have to change it for every offer that I create
Got it.
within that room, if that makes sense.
So Emma, when you say once it's signed, if let's say, because often I have view only for myself on an offer is a great example. If I view it, is it now saved in that envelope above?
Unless it is a completed envelope
Right.
and it's
It's
shown
not.
up as signed,
It
then,
won't be up there.
right. So you have to make sure the first version that you send out is signed before you go and edit your original form, if that makes sense.
Yes. That makes sense.
So again, I just kind of figured this out yesterday. So I'm still probably going to be learning things about that, forms and master forms, but any other questions on that?
If you were asked to increase an offer, for instance, so you wrote an initial offer and it's a multiple offer and they come back and they say, can you increase your price to $365, not $350?
Yeah.
Is it better to copy the original signed offer in the envelope, or is it better to use the master and change it?
That's up to you. That's going to be a personal choice. I'm thinking I like forms just for the offer because I don't have to go in and add a red line and, you know, cross out the original signature. I can just go back in here and make a small price change.
Got it. That's a huge
And-
difference. Okay, so copying copies the signatures as well.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
So
That's
this would
subtlety on
not.
this. Okay.
Right, and then just remember, once you've saved that new master form, you'd still select the document, click DocuSign, and this would still make a new envelope. So it will still help you organize files. So you would still call this, you know, highest and best offer, or, you know, counter offer or whatever. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then once I send that out, again, I'd have to send it out. Right now, it's still a draft. But once I send it out and it shows completed, then that signed document would be here. I could click and drag it up to offers. And then my master offer form is still going to say whatever I just entered in for that last envelope.
So I have a question about that.
Mhm.
So since this is a master form and I go into my next transaction, is it going to be completed the way I completed it here on this master form?
No, so as far as I understand, this is only for each room.
Okay.
So it'll be independent to each room. So let's, you know, I have this contract to purchase real estate with my name here saved, you know, and it will pull some information from the details page. So like I had my name as a trustee, so it did pull up, although it's still kind of glitchy. You see, it's supposed to say trustee, but the size, I can't change or format the size. So still some glitches with this, but I'm only saving this mini master form to my room. So these are room specific. So you would still have to do this for every room that you have. Make sense?
Judy, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Can I go to the master form area and make changes that I want on every single offer?
So you could
That
have,
would be
you
tempting.
only have one master. So you can't have a master for 123 Main and a master for 425.
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in the where I select these forms from,
Yeah.
and I go in there and make like a template form rather than no,
No.
it's blank. Okay.
No, as far as I know, no, you cannot personalize forms. You can only personalize templates.
Okay, gotcha.
Good
Thank
question. Yeah. Jessica?
That's what I was going to say, is what Judy was talking about is actually a template. What she described is making a template that you can use over and over if you want it to say something in particular.
Yeah, exactly. So, I still don't really love forms, but I did kind of figure this out yesterday, and I was like, oh, that kind of helps. That kind of explains things. And you'll have to decide, do you like forms better or do you like templates better? So if there are no other questions about forms, we will get back into personalizing templates. Okay. So just again, to reiterate, there are 2 different platforms for DocuSign today. Final day, we are working on the business and we are creating our personalized templates. Again, if you are here and you are confused, you haven't sent out an envelope for signatures yet, and you're still confused with DocuSign, I would suggest signing off now and viewing this later once you are fully familiarized with DocuSign, because I don't want to confuse you. But for those people who are comfortable and feel like they can understand, glad to have you here. So again, we are working in e-signature. So the first thing we're going to do is switch back to e-signature. Because again, today we're working on the business, not in, and we're trying to create personalized templates. So we're going to go to the templates tab. So eventually, once you do this, under my templates, you are going to have all of your own master personalized templates. So I've created a bunch here. So this is what eventually you will have. You can also personalize them. So in addition to all of the master templates from the office, if you have something specific, like a utility sheet or a specific, I don't know, form for your own team or for your own brand, you can go ahead and create that as well. So right now, probably most of you here are blank. So this is talking about how to create your own templates from the Shared With Me templates. So we're going to click on that Shared With Me template tab. And these are the office templates. These are the masters. So you can see here, any market center can share templates with us. So this Atlanta person accidentally typed in our 737 market center. So we've got to somehow, ask them to remove us from that. It's a very easy mistake. But you can see most of them say Keller Williams Realty North Central. So you can search if you want to search for only listing docs. You can do that if you want only New Hampshire forms, and I'm still working on New Hampshire, but probably about half of the forms are there. And again, website is slow, but whatever forms you want to create for yourself, you are going to look for and you are going to select. You can organize them by name if that helps you. Now, I would suggest maybe waiting a week or 2 to do this, only because these templates are fresh. Not too many people have used them. So as people are using them, sometimes people are finding, oh, this certain text box is formatted incorrectly or something like that. So if you see something that's not correct, let me know and I'll fix it. So again, I would give yourself a week or 2, let all of the flaws come out so that I can fix them. And then in a couple of weeks, hopefully most of these forms will have been used and you can go ahead and create your own templates. So any template that I want, I'm just going to check.
Emma?
There is no select all button, so you have to manually check them.
Emma,
Yes,
can I ask you a question? I'm sorry.
sure.
So I'm looking at this, and at top it says listing packet mandatory, and then there's a buyer offer packet mandatory. Is that all the documents within
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we created a couple of mandatory packets. Ideally for, what you just said, you can grab these and you'll know that anything you need to have signed will be there. Also helpful for mentors, students, so yes. So let's just say we want to select all of these forms. Again, these are the shared with me Office templates. If you go in and try to edit them here, you're not going to be able to. So once we have all the ones that we want, we will either hit download here or download here. They will download as a zip file. Do not unzip them. They do not need to be unzipped. Just leave them how they are. So now we're going to hit new. We will say upload a template. We're not going to create because they're already created. We'll say upload. We'll go to our downloads file and we'll pick that zip file. We'll hit open. It will say loading, and this will take quite a bit of time, especially the more templates you have, the more that will pop up. Saying template uploaded. So now if we go back into my templates, again, make sure your filters are clear. All of the templates that I just created here, let's just reload that. Sorry, sometimes you just got to reload the website. I'm going to try that again. So just going to let the website load.
Emma, while you're waiting for that, for those of us who had templates before that you've now said don't use those because you've learned so much, how do we get rid of them? Should we have a private conversation on that, or is there an easy way to describe that?
Yeah, there's an easy way. So I am going to do that eventually. So just select the ones that you want to delete.
In my templates.
In my templates, yep. And
Okay.
then under more, just hit delete.
Okay, awesome.
Easy as that. I know, sorry, for those of you that I shared the templates with, it's just, since I shared them, so much has changed. So you're probably better off just deleting and re-downloading.
Yeah, and I think those of us who have them are so grateful for them, but as we're learning, I'm like, I just need to clean out the old so I can inload the new. And
yes, exactly, same. All right, so for some reason, of course, this is not working right now, but.
So Emma, I'm going to ask the honest question.
Mhm.
How often are things going to change? I mean, and it's not you, you're appreciated, but it's like, don't do this. They did all the templates. Now they have to wipe them out. Sorry, just a question.
Yeah, geez, I wish I knew. I'd like to say that I think I figured everything out now.
All right, that's fine. So let me just clarify. So this is kind of you helping us put everything together. It's not the system itself, it's just our learning, correct?
Yeah. I mean, Keller Williams, didn't really have any manual or anything and no one to teach us. So I just kind of, this is me personally learning and teaching with you.
Thank you, okay.
So it's not perfect, but.
And Kelly, I think the key too is Emma made a whole bunch of templates that are easy for multiple users, but as a team or as an individual, you may be like, well, this isn't how I do business. Or I've noticed my data is wrong in a lot of places. So I have to go back in anyway and manually fill in some of my stuff because of the way it's populating from whatever source.
That's way cool. I just know because, people are texting. I just want them to understand it's not that Keller Williams didn't get something right before they launched this. It's just the fact of our learning. That's all. That's cool.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, they didn't give us any guidance, so it's tough,
No, thank you. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
So, appreciate it.
It'd be a lot tougher without you.
100%.
Say that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. So, all right, we are going to try this one more time. We uploaded our templates. I'm just gonna see here. Oh, okay. For some reason, I only selected one. So I keep adding this and I keep thinking it's not working, but but it actually is working because now you see I've got 4 buyer agency disclosures here that were all created in the last couple of minutes. So again, just to recap, if you go into Shared with Me and select the templates that you want to download, and Kelly, again, just to your point, if this is confusing you and you don't want to use these personalized templates, you don't have to.
No,
you can still just use the Office ones.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. So we downloaded our Shared with Me templates. Now we're going to go into My Templates. Again, just upload a template because it's already been created. Find our downloads, find our zip file, do not unzip. Again, it will take a while to load. Just be patient. All right, so you see here, I just added these 2 forms. So now here is where you can go in and edit them. Again, we're still in e-signature. So let's say I wanted to edit the exclusive right to sell. Just go in and edit. If we wanted to call this our team name, we could. So we could, I tried manually entering this in and seeing if it works and if it pulls. It doesn't really seem to. It might, we'll try it out again. Now we could write a message here.
And would that message show up every single time we use this document?
It should, yes.
Awesome.
So once we've edited the name of the file, if we wanted to describe it, we could. We have our documents. Now let's say I wanted to manually add something to our exclusive right to sell agreement. Like if we had a Sable Associates form that we wanted to use here or something specific. We could add it in there. So if I needed to change the file name, I could edit that. This one says for .loop, we'll delete that. And if it was more than one file, I could change this to listing docs. So we're gonna hit next, and here, again, this is where we are editing our files. So if I have put something here, you know, go ahead and personalize these, but in general, don't go adding name tags or any of these tags. Reason being, these name tags are, you cannot select collaborate, so they're not going to work. So again, this is a little advanced, but if you're clicking on a text box that is already here, it's already got the recipients can collaborate checkbox. So if you're putting a full name here, and let's say this is you as the listing agent, and I hit recipient preview, and I'm using a name tag, seller 1 will not see that name, right? I put a name tag there because you can't collaborate on name tags, which is so stupid. That would make it so much easier. You see, only the listing agent can view it because it's only assigned to the listing agent. So in general, if I did not put a name tag, it's for a reason, because I would assume that you would want your clients to see that it is you. So I'm going to go in and just edit what I need to. If I want to add a text box, I would suggest just copying one that's already here rather than adding one. Because again, this one doesn't have the correct formatting. So unless you're going to edit every single text box that you add, I would just suggest copying and pasting one that's already here. So the way I did the checkboxes is for this one, it is not read-only, so the sellers can decide whether or not it does or does not have recording devices. So go through,
As a
And then-
practical matter on those check boxes, are the clients given an opportunity to deal with them? Because I'm having problems with check boxes and people signing.
How so?
They aren't checking them.
So
They're
you,
like, oh, I didn't see that. I'm like, oh, super duper. Especially on things like counter offers.
yeah, you could check them for them. So we kind of went over this in the lead paint. The way we had it set up is that we as the agents check it off, and if something doesn't look right, the seller would tell us, and we could then go ahead and edit that. You could also use a radio button. So a radio button would be, either or, and these could be
Oh,
required if you
so they can
wanted
only
to.
check one.
Yeah, you could do it that way. I didn't set it up for the whole office that way because I just don't want it to, get anyone hung up. But if you wanted to do that, Sky, you definitely could.
Okay,
Just
that
make
makes
sure
sense.
that it's a required field,
Thank you.
right? Because you definitely want them to do that, and then make sure they can collaborate. Make sense?
Yes, and
That-
I think it's my failure to make it a required field, so they're seeing it, but they're able to move on without doing it. So
Right.
they're going onward. And if you make them both required, then they have to check it, and then I'm getting double checks everywhere. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
So just to be clear, a radio button means they're required to check something, but they can only check one of those things.
Yeah, so let's just do a recipient preview here with radio buttons. If I'm signing as the seller, it is bringing me here because it is required. So I can only check one of them. Whereas the check boxes are optional. And again, I kind of did that because the feeling is I don't want someone to get stumped by this. That's on a basic level, but if you are more advanced, go ahead and create those radio buttons. Just make sure that they are recipients can collaborate, because if you don't, you see how seller 1 and 2 see this?
Yep.
If I didn't have this as sellers can collaborate, then only seller 1 would see it.
This is so fancy. Okay.
So I can
So
put.
stupid.
I actually love it. I love it
Good.
because I don't mind if seller 1 is the only one to do it sometimes, but the collaboration means someone can correct someone else too. But we just have to know. We have to know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I can put radio buttons on audio, video, or both, and one of those will be required, or can I only do it to 2?
Let's see here. So radio buttons on this, I would be careful with this, because if someone said does not have recording devices and then they have to choose this,
Right.
then that's confusing, because they shouldn't have to choose it if it's if they don't have anything. So I might do radio buttons for does or does not, and then check boxes here. But
Yep.
let's see what happens here. Yeah. So again, maybe I wouldn't do it there, just because not everyone will have to check this off. Now you can get really fancy, and I have not done this yet, but you can create formulas, conditional logic.
Oh, God. That's
totally
way
cool.
too advanced.
Yeah, so I haven't really played around with that yet, but I'm pretty sure that if you just create a rule, again, I haven't gotten into it, but if you want to play around with that, you could. But for the time being, figure out whatever way you prefer.
Emma, what happens to those check boxes? They're just,
So I just left them here, but I could delete them. So if you just
Okay.
select and
Just 'cause-
either delete on your keyboard or right click and delete.
no, it would confuse the hell out of me if I saw all of them.
Yeah. And again, I'm editing this from my own personal account. So if you do have teams, my suggestion would be one person edit all the files first, have them customized, and then you can download them and share them. I will touch on that at the end. So anything that I wanted to custom add in here, I could. So this is like a custom form that we have at Ridgefield. So then I would just go in and add signatures. And again, just trying to show you that you can add a template and a PDF to one template. If I wanted to change that date signed text, I could. And then I could just copy all or select all, copy, and then paste to location to have it pretty much go to where I want it to go. All right, so let's say I have finished everything for my template. I'm going to hit save and close. Now it should pop up here on the top. Again, you can toggle by last change, date created. It normally goes by last change. So if I am an admin or a rainmaker and I've created all of my custom templates and I want to share them with the team members, what I would do is for whoever created those master team templates, select them all, more, and download. Again, this is going to create a zip file. And then you would just go into your other team member's account. And then you would, again, if you're logging into DocuSign independently of Keller Williams, you are automatically going to e-signature. So you just go to your templates. You'd say new, upload templates, find that zip form. And again, this is for creating kind of master team files. You'd still have to change some things like the agency disclosures, but at least you'd have your formatting the way you want them, like with the radio buttons and or team names. And if you're an admin and you want to go ahead and edit all of these, you can, or you can have the agents do them. So now if we look at this template that we just created under me, now Gail sees it in hers, but again, I would want to change it to her information. I don't know if that works. We're going to see in a second here. But you can see that all I would have to do is change wherever it says my name. It would still hold those radio buttons and the formatting of collaboration. And I could go in and change. And now this is going to be saved. Again, it held all those signatures. This is going to be saved under Gail's account. Any questions on that? So let's now go in and test using one of these templates. So again, now that we've created everything, we are going to go into rooms. And now we're just using an actual template that is personalized to us. So we're going to go right to envelopes, again, because we're using a template. So now when we hit use the template, we are staying in that my templates rather than shared with me. We can search. And I find that the website is getting more and more slow as everyone else keeps using the website. Oh, I just had it here. If you see it, where the heck did it go?
You can try searching it by date last modified instead of name of contract. I have to do that a lot.
It will let me do that under shared maybe, but not my own. Let me try again. And sometimes I've found if I just hit cancel and try it again, sometimes it will work. Yeah. So here it is. So I can't explain the glitches, but just roll with them. So now I'm adding my own personalized template. I can add the recipients from the pre-tagged roles. Okay, so it is holding on to, oh, sorry, that was because of the room. So regardless, the information will pull. This did not pull. Remember, I renamed this to that, so I guess there's no point in doing that. If we hit next, now again, we are in the business and we are using our personalized templates. All of my information is already pulling. These radio buttons are pulling. I cannot check them because they are not read-only. So, oh, I guess I just did. So I could check them, but then because they are marked as read-only or not read-only, the seller could change that. I'll show you that in a bit. So again, everything that was automatically put in there from my custom template is here. So now let's say I checked off this radio button. Then if I, let's say, I'm assuming that, they told me there's a Amazon Alexa. And so I said, does record audio. That's me as the listing agent. Now I'm going to preview as the seller. So again, it's saying this is required, not this, which probably you'd want to switch around. But I could uncheck that, check that, and then switch this as the consumer because of the formatting laws that I set up. And then when I'm ready to send, I just would send the same way. What questions do we have on personalized templates?
Can we make folders for those like you did in the master file to say like Scotland team listing documents?
Kind of. So again, this is me in the business. The only way that I can view my templates is by searching name or last modified. That's me in the business in rooms. So you can't really organize them for working in the business. You can organize them when you're working on the business, which kind of sucks. You hope that you would be able to organize them when you're actually using them. But you can create folders here for your own templates. So if I clicked on these,
That's great.
I could add them here. But again, it's not really going to help you in the business, only on.
Oh,
Then same thing.
so it doesn't transfer over is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Same thing with shared folders. So I was playing around with this and I, put all the New Hampshire files in a shared folder. But again, you can't see that when you're actually sending out signatures. You're only seeing this on the back end and e-signature. So it doesn't necessarily help you. If you are in your templates and you think you're going to share them with your team members, just remember there is no way to share. You have to download them first, send them over to your team members, and then, manually have your team members upload instead of create because they're already created. Any other share or templates questions, forms questions? Did I scare you guys?
Nope.
Is it possible to tell when a form has been created as my template? Can you look and determine which ones are yours and which ones are somebody else's?
Yes. So great question. Your templates are going to be in this My Templates tab.
Okay.
And the ones that are shared with you from the office will always be in shared with me. So you will
So,
only be able to see the office and your own.
okay, got it.
This is so great, Emma.
Oh, good. I know, it's exciting.
Yeah,
Tom,
thanks
you have
much.
a question?
Nope, I was just
Okay.
saying thanks.
You're welcome. Kelly?
Thank you, Emma. No, actually, this amazingly looks pretty, I don't want to use the word easy.
DocuSign easy?
No, today.
And just remember, I would kind of wait a couple of weeks to create these because, you know, I am a human and I do make mistakes and use forms. Some of them I was doing in the middle of the night, so they might not be perfect. So if you do see something that's wrong with them, please let me know and I can change them if I'm missing a file. Like I know that Judy Scotland was looking for the delayed listing in MLS. I had only entered in coming soon and deferral, so I just added delayed. I added the referral form. So, you know, as we start actually using these forms, I'm sure some of them will be missing, and just let me know and I will add them. So I would maybe give everyone 2 weeks before you go in and create your own templates. Also, the New Hampshire ones are still in progress. I've got about half of those done, and Sky, thank you for kind of giving me those packets for New Hampshire. Oh, you know what? If someone is here from New Hampshire, I'm hoping they can help me. I'm just gonna stop recording